Big news for seniors, retirees, and disability beneficiaries. President has just scored a major court victory that could lead to sweeping changes in Social Security starting in 2026. These changes are being described as some of the most significant updates in decades, and they are expected to impact millions of Americans receiving SSA, SSI, and SSDI payments. From new benefit adjustments, to shifts in payment schedules, to rules that may alter how much you receive each month, this ruling could reshape the way Social Security works for retirees and disabled individuals across the country. With so much uncertainty surrounding the future of Social Security, it's critical to understand what this decision means, what changes are likely coming, and how they could affect your benefits moving forward. In this video, we'll break down the 6 biggest Social Security changes tied to Trump's court victory, and explain what you need to know to stay prepared in 2026. If you're receiving Social Security benefits or planning to claim them soon, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This channel is your go-to source for all things Social Security, and you won't want to miss our daily updates on benefits, changes, and insider tips. Now, let's get into these game-changing developments. Let me paint you a picture of what's happening right now. The Social Security Administration is undergoing its biggest transformation since the 1980s, and it's all thanks to a landmark court decision that's sending shockwaves through the entire system. You might be thinking, here we go again, another change that's going to make things more complicated. But hold on, because some of these changes might actually work in your favor. The first major shift we're seeing involves the cost of living adjustment, COLA, calculation method. Now, I know what you're thinking, not another COLA change. But this is different. The court victory has paved the way for a new calculation formula that could potentially lead to more accurate adjustments that better reflect the actual costs seniors face. Instead of using the current Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners, they're looking at implementing a senior-specific index that takes into account the unique spending patterns of retirees, especially when it comes to healthcare and housing costs. Think about it, when was the last time the COLA truly covered your increasing expenses? This new approach could mean the difference between struggling to make ends meet and having a bit more breathing room in your monthly budget. For example, under the new system, if healthcare costs spike significantly, which they often do, your COLA would better reflect that increase instead of being averaged out with other expenses that might not affect seniors as much. The second big change coming down the pipeline affects the earnings limit for those collecting Social Security while still working. This has been a major pain point for many recipients who feel penalized for trying to supplement their income. The court decision has prompted a review of these limits, and preliminary reports suggest we might see a more generous earnings threshold before benefits start getting reduced. This could be a game changer for those of you who want or need to keep working past retirement age. I recently spoke with Martha, a 67-year-old part-time consultant who's been frustrated with the current earnings limit. She told me, "I love my work, and I'm good at it. Why should I be penalized for wanting to stay active and contribute to society?" Well, Martha, it looks like your concerns have been heard, and the new changes might finally address this long-standing issue. Now, let's talk about something that's been causing anxiety for many of you: the disability review process for SSDI recipients. The third major change focuses on streamlining and modernizing how the Social Security Administration evaluates continuing disability. The current system, let's be honest, can be overwhelming and sometimes feels like it's designed to trip you up. But the new changes aim to make this process more straightforward and less stressful. Under the new guidelines, the frequency of reviews will be better tailored to individual circumstances, and there's going to be more emphasis on using technology to make the process more efficient. This means less paperwork, faster decisions, and more consideration for chronic conditions that aren't likely to improve. For those of you who've been through the current review process, you know just how valuable these changes could be. The fourth change addresses something that's been a source of frustration for many SSI recipients: the resource limits. Currently, these limits are, quite frankly, outdated and unrealistic. They haven't kept pace with inflation or modern financial realities. The court victory has opened the door for a significant update to these limits, potentially allowing SSI recipients to save more money without losing their benefits. Think about this: the current resource limit of $2,000 for individuals and $3,000 for couples was set decades ago. How is anyone supposed to maintain any kind of financial security with such restrictive limits? The proposed changes could see these limits increase substantially, giving SSI recipients more flexibility in managing their finances and planning for emergencies. Here's where things get really interesting. The fifth change involves the way Social Security calculates benefits for married couples. The current system has been criticized for what some call the marriage penalty, where married couples sometimes receive less in combined benefits than they would as single individuals. The new regulations aim to address this disparity and create a more equitable system for married beneficiaries. I recently heard from John and Sarah, who postponed their marriage because they were worried about how it would affect their combined Social Security benefits. "We've been together for 15 years, Sarah told me, but getting married would have meant losing hundreds of dollars in monthly benefits. The upcoming changes could mean couples like John and Sarah won't have to choose between their relationship status and their financial security." The sixth and final major change focuses on the application and appeals process itself. Let's face it, dealing with the Social Security Administration can sometimes feel like you're trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. The new systems being implemented aim to make the entire process more user-friendly and accessible, especially for those who might not be tech-savvy or have limited access to resources. This includes the introduction of new online tools, simplified application forms, and more importantly, better training for SSA representatives who handle claims and appeals. The goal is to reduce the average processing time for applications and appeals, which currently can stretch on for months or even years. Imagine being able to track your application status in real time, like you would a package delivery. That's the kind of transparency they're working toward. But here's what you really need to understand about these changes: they're not happening in isolation. They're part of a broader effort to modernize and strengthen the Social Security system for future generations. The court victory didn't just prompt these specific changes, it opened the door for a comprehensive review of how the entire system operates. You might be wondering, what does this mean for my current benefits? That's a great question, and it's one I hear often. The good news is that existing benefits are protected. These changes are designed to enhance, not reduce, the support provided to beneficiaries. In fact, many of you might see your benefits increase as these new calculations and limits take effect. Let's talk about timing for a moment. While these changes are set to roll out in 2026, some preliminary adjustments might start appearing sooner. The Social Security Administration is taking a phased approach to implementation, which means you might start seeing some of these changes affect your benefits before the full rollout. Here's something crucial to keep in mind: these changes will affect different beneficiaries in different ways. For example, if you're receiving SSDI, the streamlined review process might be the most significant change for you. If you're an SSI recipient, the updated resource limits could have the biggest impact. And if you're a retired worker still earning income, the new earnings limit could be your most important consideration. I want to address a concern that many of you have expressed in the comments of my previous videos: will these changes survive potential legal challenges? The court victory that made these changes possible was comprehensive and well-reasoned, making it unlikely that these reforms will be successfully challenged. However, I'll be keeping a close eye on any legal developments and will update you if anything changes. Let's talk about preparation. While 2026 might seem far away, there are steps you can take now to position yourself to benefit from these changes. First, make sure all your documentation is current and easily accessible. This includes medical records for SSDI recipients, income documentation for those still working, and marriage certificates for couples who might benefit from the new spousal benefit calculations. Another important aspect to consider is how these changes might affect your long-term financial planning. For example, if you're currently holding off on returning to part-time work because of the earnings limit, you might want to start exploring opportunities that could become viable under the new rules. Or if you're an SSI recipient, you might want to start thinking about how you'll use the increased resource limits to build a more secure financial buffer. Remember those questions we asked at the beginning? About why Social Security seems to be constantly changing? Well, the answer lies in the system's need to adapt to our evolving society. These changes represent the largest systematic update in decades, aimed at making the program more responsive to the real needs of beneficiaries. Let me share another story that illustrates why these changes are so important. I recently spoke with Robert, a 72-year-old former teacher who relies on Social Security as his primary income source. Every year, he told me, I watch my benefits increase by a little bit, but my actual costs go up by a lot more. The new COLA calculation method could help people like Robert maintain their purchasing power more effectively. But here's something that might surprise you: these changes aren't just about increasing benefits. They're about making the entire system more efficient and sustainable. By streamlining processes and reducing administrative overhead, the Social Security Administration can direct more resources toward actual benefits rather than operational costs. I know some of you might be feeling overwhelmed by all this information. Change can be scary, especially when it involves something as important as your Social Security benefits. But remember, these changes are designed to strengthen and improve the system, not complicate it further. Let's talk about what you can do right now to stay informed and prepared. First, make sure you have an online account with the Social Security Administration. This will be crucial for accessing information about how these changes will affect your specific situation. Second, keep your contact information updated so you don't miss any important communications about these changes. As we wrap up this discussion, I want to emphasize something important. While these changes are significant, they're not something to worry about. They represent progress toward a more modern, efficient, and fair Social Security system. The key is staying informed and understanding how these changes will affect your specific situation. Remember, this channel is here to help you navigate these changes every step of the way. We'll be providing regular updates as more details become available, and I'll be here to answer your questions and address your concerns. Don't forget to like this video and share it with anyone who might benefit from this information. And here's one final thought to leave you with: these changes represent an opportunity. An opportunity for a better, more secure retirement system. An opportunity for more accurate benefit calculations. An opportunity for a Social Security program that better serves the needs of all Americans. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these upcoming changes. What aspects are you most excited about? What concerns do you have? Drop a comment below and let's continue this important discussion. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Social Security changes that could affect your benefits. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll dive deeper into each of these changes and provide specific strategies for maximizing your benefits under the new rules. Until then, take care and remember, knowledge is power when it comes to securing your financial future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on all the latest Social Security news and changes. See you in the next video.